Hello, in this video I'll show you how to replace the timing belt kit and water pump on Audi A6 C6 4F 2 liters TDI. The timing belt and serpentine belt on this car are located on the front of the engine. First you need to remove that engine cover, and here now we'll be able to see the serpentine belt is located right there, and the timing belt is located just underneath this timing belt cover. To get access to the timing belt, first we need to remove the front bumper and put the whole front end into surface position so that we have enough space to work on the timing belt. First we start by removing this plastic panel, and then remove the bolts from the front bumper. There's 3 bolts for the bumper here on top, one of them is down there, and then there's 2 bolts on each side. In my case there's no bolts, there is cable ties put on instead of the bolts, but in your case it will be bolts. When I remove those cable ties, then we're going to remove the 2 bolts, the 2 nuts holding the bumper on this side. To remove the nuts, first we need to remove the bolts holding this wheel arch liner and put the wheel arch liner to the side so that we can get enough access to get to the nuts on both sides. If the video is useful, please like and comment on the video and subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this. Now we're going to push in the wheel arch liner and we'll see where the location of the nut is that we need to take out. The nut is located right there. It's size 10 socket. To get to that nut we need a long extension and maybe electric ratchet. If you don't have electric ratchet, normal ratchet will do, but we'll need long extension. Now we do the same on the other side. First we remove the bolts for the wheel arch liner, we push it to the side and then take out the nut. Next I'll show you the location of the nut. The nut is located just down there. Just give it a light for a little bit. You can see it's located right there. Now I'm going to remove that nut. Next I'm going to go underneath the car and remove the engine under tray if there is one. In my case there is no engine under tray. We'll just check if the bumper is held on somewhere else on the bottom. In my case it's not held anywhere else. So next we're going to take out the bumper. Here you can see the bumper is out. Now there is the only thing left to unplug is the electrical connectors on the 2 sides. And once the electrical connectors are disconnected, we can take out the bumper. Next we're going to remove the headlights. The headlights are held by 3 bolts, one down there, one here, and one here on the side. We remove those 3 bolts, and the same on the other headlight. Now that the bolts are removed, we're going to take out the headlight and disconnect the electrical connector. To disconnect the electrical connector, we need to push this tab in, and then we'll just pry out the connector. And that's the headlight out. Now we're going to remove the other headlight as well. Next we're going to remove this metal crash plate. It's held by 4 bolts, 2 on here, on this side, and 2 on the other side. Okay, now we're going to remove those 4 bolts. Now that the 4 bolts are removed, I'm going to take out this metal plate and put it to the side. Next I'm going to remove the bolts holding this housing that holds the radiator. I'm going to remove the bolts holding it so that I can bring it forward. These are the bolts that I need to remove. Those 3 bolts on this side. Also we need to remove those 3 bolts on that side. Also we need to remove the 2 screws holding this air intake pipe. And also we need to remove those 4 bolts, 2 on top, 2 on the bottom, and then the nut over there, and also on that side 4 bolts and that nut as well. We'll start by removing those bolts and the nut on the 2 sides. Next we're going to remove the 2 screws holding the air intake pipe. Next we're going to remove the 3 bolts on this side and the 3 bolts on the other side. We can see the whole thing is starting to get loose, but there is still some things we need to remove before being able to bring it forward. First we need to remove this air intake hose. We need to loosen that metal clamp and also this intercooler hose as well. loosen again this clamp and just take out the hoses. Next we need to get long screwdrivers to put them in there, into that hole, so that we can slide the whole front end onto them. We'll put this screwdriver in there and the other screwdriver on the other side. Like I said, on these screwdrivers, we're going to slide the whole front end onto them. But before being able to slide the front end, we need to remove this bolt as well, which is still holding the front end, and that bolt as well. They're just next to the radiator hoses. Now that everything is removed, we can just slide the whole front end onto the screwdrivers. We need to slide them as much as possible so that we can get enough access to replace the timing belt. We can see on this side we're not able to bring it forward much because this hose is in our way. So we're going to remove the metal clamp for the hose and remove the hose, and then we should have no problem to bring forward the whole front end. Here we can see the front end came out enough, so now we should have enough space to do timing belt or crankshaft pulley or whatever you need to be done. Here you can see now how much space there is to do our job. Next we're going to remove the serpentine belt. To remove the serpentine belt, this is the tensioner right there that we need to turn so that we can loosen the belt. This is the wrench that I'm using, size 16. We're going to put it on the bolt of the tensioner pulley, and once we turn it, we're going to put that pin into the two holes to hold it steady in place so that we can remove the belt. Okay, once we turn it now, we're going to put that pin into those holes, and now we will be able to remove the belt. I'll show you a closer view of where I put that pin in there, and you can see now the belt is loose and I can remove the belt. Next we're going to remove this timing belt upper cover. It's held by those metal clamps. Next we're going to remove the crankshaft pulley. To remove the crankshaft pulley, there is first some rubber cover on the front of it that we need to just pull out. And behind that cover are the 4 bolts holding the crankshaft pulley. I'll show you a closer view of the 4 bolts. These are the 4 bolts, and there is a center bolt also so that we can turn the crankshaft pulley or to hold the crankshaft pulley from turning while we try to loosen the bolts. This is the socket size 19 that I'm going to use to hold the crankshaft pulley. While I hold the crankshaft with this long ratchet and size 19 socket, next I'm going to try to loosen the 4 bolts holding the pulley. And to loosen the bolts I'm using this M10 socket. First I'm going to loosen the 4 bolts with the ratchet, and then I'm going to take them out with the electric ratchet. That's the 4 bolts holding the crankshaft pulley out. Next I'm going to take out the crankshaft pulley. Next I'm going to turn the tensioner pulley so that I can take out the pin and just bring it back into normal position, because this way the tensioner pulley is in the way of removing the timing belt lower cover. And now I'm going to take out the bolts holding the timing belt lower cover and take out the cover. Next I'm going to be removing the timing belt. First I'll show you in the service manual everything, all the procedures for the timing belt, the tightening torques, and how the routing of the timing belt as well, and everything you need to know. And also show you a procedure for removal and installation. Next, before removing the belt, first I'm going to put the crankshaft and the camshaft into top dead center on number 1 cylinder. When they're at top dead center on number 1 cylinder, then the 2 windows on the 2 camshaft sprocket will be at 12 o'clock position on the engine. Once the 2 windows on the camshaft sprockets are at 12 o'clock position, that means I can install the 2 locking tools for the camshaft. Here you can see where I'm putting on the locking pin into the left camshaft, just at around 8 o'clock position, into the hole in there. In order to put it in all the way, maybe use the ratchet just to turn the crankshaft a little bit until you feel that the camshaft, that the locking tool is at the hole on the camshaft, and once it's in all the way, then you'll be able to put in the other locking tool on the other camshaft easily. But if the first one doesn't want to go in, just turn the crankshaft a little bit with the ratchet until you feel it go in all the way and lock the camshaft. Okay, that's the 2 camshafts locked. Now I'll show you a closer view. You can see the window is at 12 o'clock on the engine, and this is the place where the 2 locking tools are in. One is at around 8 o'clock position, and the other locking tool is about 4 o'clock position. And this is the tool that I'm going to lock the crankshaft with. There is an arrow on this locking tool that has to align with the arrow on the crankshaft sprocket. You can see that arrow in red has to align with the arrow on the locking tool. And also there is this thing on the rear that has to go into the hole on the engine. This thing has to go into the hole of the engine down there. Now you see exactly how it goes in. Here you can see it's the locking tool is in all the way, and now you see that the 2 arrows have aligned. Yep, the 2 arrows have aligned, so that means that the crankshaft is locked, and also the 2 camshafts are locked. Now next we can remove the timing belt. Before removing the timing belt, first I'm going to loosen the 3 bolts on each camshaft sprocket, so that we can turn a little bit the camshafts. Next we're going to loosen the nut holding the tensioner pulley, and we're going to get an Allen key into that hole down there. And once we loosen the nut, we're going to turn the Allen key anti-clockwise all the way until we can insert the locking pin, and then we're going to turn it fully clockwise until it reaches top position. The locking pin will go somewhere in there. We'll see now. First we're going to loosen the nut and then turn the Allen key anti-clockwise all the way. Once we turn the Allen key, we're turning the tensioner along with it, and we'll see where the hole for the locking pin is, and we're going to put the locking pin into that hole. I'll show you a closer view of where exactly the locking pin goes in. You can see it goes into that hole. You just push it in all the way, and once it's pushed in all the way, now I'm going to turn the tensioner fully clockwise with the Allen key, and then tighten the nut this way. the tensioner will be in a position so that the belt is loose and we can remove it. So we'll go fully clockwise with the tensioner with the Allen key, and once we reach the stop, we can't go anymore, then we're going to tighten the nut. And next we can remove the timing belt, but I'll just show you a much easier way to put on the timing belt afterwards. We're going to mark the timing belt on the two camshaft sprocket and also on the crankshaft sprocket so that we can put it in the exact space afterwards. If you don't have experience, this will be very good to do. If you have a lot of experience, then you don't have to do it. And next we're going to remove the timing belt. And that's the timing belt out. Next we're going to remove the water pump. It's held by 3 bolts. That's the water pump right there. 2 bolts on top and one on the bottom. That's the water pump out. Now we're going to replace it with a new one. This is the part number for the whole timing belt kit plus water pump. If you need the part number for it, and this is the new water pump. There is an O-ring on it that I've already lubricated with grease, and now I'm going to put on the water pump and tighten the 3 bolts. That's the water pump back on. Next I'm going to remove this parasitic pulley and this tensioner pulley and also this parasitic pulley and replace them with new ones. That's the small pulley removed as well. Now I'm going to remove that bolt on the parasitic pulley. To remove that bolt, we're putting two nuts against each other, tightening them against each other, and we're going to turn the inner nut so that we can loosen that bolt and take it out. Here you can see we're turning the inner nut, and that bolt is turning, so, and that's how we're going to remove it and replace it. And as the bolt out, now next we're going to put those two nuts on the new bolt, and just as the new bolt, and we're going to put it in there and turn it. We're going to tighten it as much as the two nuts allow, and then we're going to remove the nuts. And now we're going to put on the parasitic pulley. Next we're going to remove the nut holding the tensioner pulley and take out the tensioner pulley. That's the tensioner pulley out. Now next we're going to remove the bolt that the tensioner pulley is sitting on. We're going to do it again with the two nuts like on the parasitic pulley. After we do that, we're going to put on the new tensioner pulley. Now we're going to put on the new tensioner pulley, put the nut on and just hand tighten it. And next we're going to put the timing belt on. When you put the timing belt on, you might want to get somebody to help you to make it easier just to hold the timing belt into the sprockets. First we put it on the crankshaft sprockets. Now next we're going to put it onto the crankshaft sprocket. If there is marks on it, if you've put marks on it, make sure the marks align with the crankshaft sprocket and the crankshaft sprocket. Then you put it around the water pump, and now in my case I'm going to remove the small parasitic pulley that I already put on, so that I can make enough space to put the timing belt around the tensioner and around the camshaft sprocket. And once I put them around all the sprockets, then I'm going to be able to put that parasitic pulley. You also need to insert the Allen key into the tensioner so that you can turn the tensioner so that it's in a position so that you can put in the timing belt. And now to put the timing belt onto the tensioner, maybe take it out a little bit at the camshaft sprocket. When you put it into the tensioner, then just bring it into the camshaft sprocket. And now we're going to put on the parasitic pulley. Now that the timing belt is on, next we're going to tighten the parasitic pulleys. The small parasitic pulley is at 20 Newton meters. This big parasitic pulley is at 45 Newton meters plus 90 degrees. The tensioner nut is at 20 Newton meters plus 45 degrees. Before tightening the tensioner, first we need to tighten the timing belt. To tighten the timing belt, we need to turn the Allen key on the tensioner until the pointer aligns with the notch on the tensioner, and once it aligns with the notch, that means that the timing belt is tightened, and we can tighten the nut on the tensioner. Okay, now we can tighten the nut, and next I'll show you a view of how the pointer aligns with the notch. Here it is, that's the pointer and the notch on the rear, they're aligned, so that means that the timing belt has been tightened. Next I'm going to tighten the nut on the tensioner to tightening specs. Next I'm going to tighten the 3 bolts on the 2 camshafts. They're 25 Newton meters tightening torque. And once everything is tightened, next I'm going to remove the locking tools on the 2 camshafts. On the one camshaft came out, on the other one doesn't seem to want to come out, so next I'm going to remove the locking tool on the crankshaft and maybe turn the crankshaft a little bit with the ratchet in order to loosen that locking tool on the camshaft. So now I'm turning the crankshaft a little bit, and the locking tool should be able to come out. Here it is, the locking tool is out. Next I'm going to turn the crankshaft 2 turns so that again the whole engine goes to top dead center on number 1 cylinder, and check if all the locking tools will align. If all the locking tools align, that means the timing belt is replaced. Okay, now that the engine is at top dead center on number 1 cylinder, we're again going to insert the 2 locking tools on the 2 camshafts and the locking tool on the crankshaft. If everything goes in there, that means we're done with replacing the timing belt. We can see the 2 locking pins on the camshaft have gone in, so that means everything will be okay. Now if the locking tool on the crankshaft goes in, then that means that the timing belt is replaced. Now we can remove the locking pins and assemble everything in the reverse order. Hopefully the video was helpful. Please like and comment on the video and